All right, good afternoon. Check, check, radio check. I want to make sure everybody can hear me, see me. If somebody wouldn't mind typing into chat that you can see and hear me, that would be great. And we'll go ahead and get started. Oh, good. Thank you, Paul. All right. So most of you know the format. Typically every week we do some subject. I didn't announce it this week what I was going to talk to because I wasn't really sure. I actually had been vetting a technology, and we presented that to our field force on Tuesday. And I was so impressed by the content that I said it's right up the right up the alley of what we've been promoting recently with long-term care. I felt, you know what, let me do this topic, and it'll be short, but I think it's insightful because it really will help us start to rethink how we might approach retirement planning on a go forward. So today's topic is going to be using technology to predict life and health, allowing for a more custom retirement plan. Now, on the surface, that sounds wonderful, but I'll just use myself and my wife. When I started to suggest that we look at this together, my wife wanted no part of it. And there was a fear element, right? Because what we're starting to do is using technology predict, how long we're going to live, or what kind of health issues we may have in the future. And good or bad, it could, this is information that I think, if properly applied, can help us to start to think differently about the future. So what are the greatest fears of people as they face retirement? And, Allianz did a study, and, it says running out of money, changes to Social Security, and worries about health and healthcare. What you find interesting on this pie chart, people are more afraid of running out of money by a tune of about 60-40 split. And it just shows you, although death, we know nobody wants to die. Death is always, premature. But this is when it sort of runs, foot in step with when I'm doing, classes at different locations. I'll poll the audience who here, by a show of hands, is afraid of running out of money in retirement. And that is almost the number one fear as I poll audiences. So I wasn't surprised to see that. But what is the biggest threat to our retirement portfolio? So here you said, hey, I hang up the cleats, we're ready to enjoy retirement. And, these are the things we talk about. Are they taxes? Are they inflation? Is it the interest rate or market volatility? Well, really, no, the biggest threat is the high cost of aging. And that's what we've been talking about lately with custodial care and long-term care. So there are four common approaches used to address the high cost of aging. The first is assume everyone will live to 95 or 100. And I'm guilty of it. A lot of the software that I use, we're when you think about it, we're planning for the worst, right? By somebody, planning to age 100, that's what all actuarial tables on life insurance was based on, right? Now mortality tables have gone out to 120. But, when you really look at the statistics, the majority, the lion's share of the population is probably 92 to 95, right? If you go out that long in all of your planning and you don't make it, in reality, maybe you've given up some of those golden years. Another common approach is look up life expectancy from a generic life table, right? Like I said, what actuaries have used based on statistics, asking how long they think they're going to live. Now, this is just a ridiculous question, right? But if somebody were to ask me, I don't have the foggiest idea, and it's almost an uncomfortable question. But if you look at some of these surveys that are done, when you're doing it, they'll say, well, how long do you think you'll live, right? How long did your parents live? And those could be some factors, and they actually are there's some merit to, our heredity and genealogy, and how long our parents, our grandparents, and siblings have lived. But, to ask me, how long do you think I'm going to live? I don't know. So, and then lastly, ignore longevity and health entirely. And this is the ostrich approach. And this is what I think, it's just an uncomfortable subject. It's exactly what I said at the beginning of this slide. It's what my wife tended towards, taking that approach. She didn't want to know. Right. And she does tend to be a little bit of a worrywart, right? She is concerned about everything, and sometimes rightfully so. And that's the scientists in her. All right. So is there another solution? So using tools of aging science to quickly, efficiently, and reliably to estimate lifespan, health span for individuals and couples. That's why I was excited, because when I saw it, I was sort of just shocked, because it's a lot of what I know numerically, but I'd never seen it in a picturesque form. And that's what we're going to show you here towards the end of these slides. And then openly and directly discuss the survival gaps between partners, right? This is, where you have to, my wife will tell you, and again, I keep using her. I hurt my back, last week, and then I kept working out and I kept doing it. And in pretty much Tuesday night, I was bent over in complete agony, right? And all day yesterday trying to recover. And, and like little things like help me get up off the couch, help me to stand up straight. She goes, "Are you kidding?" And I'm like, "No, I really injured my lower back." Now, it was self-induced. It was something, like I said, I had, I think, now that the swelling has gone down, it was martial arts related, but, I'm feeling better now. It's still a little tense and tender, but I've been thinking a lot about that, she's like, "You better make sure you got some type of plan in place, because I'm not doing this when you get to, to be, too old." She's very blunt with me, right? So that's where having these discussions, I think, is important. And then provide the real probability of running out of money. That's the thing, is if care is needed and we don't have a plan in place, we've talked about in the past the true costs, not only the costs from a financial aspect, but the costs on our loved ones, right? What are the consequences that our loved ones are going to have to endure if they turn around and they have to be a caretaker, if they have to end up, putting their life on pause to be able to help out their loved ones, mom and dad, right? And then look for retirement planning and investment products designed to address their unique, specific health and longevity risks. And this is what, the industry has actually gotten to a point where they've come up with good solutions, but they have to be custom tailored, is the best way I know. I got a gentleman I was speaking to today. He's 74. I called his son. He's been my client probably 15 years. And I said to the son, I said, I have concerns about your dad's memory. Dementia is reaching people every 65 seconds, right? He is physically healthy. But he said in the conversation, as I was starting to have this to him, I'm concerned that he's not even eligible anymore, because I already say, he goes, "Yeah, my memory is not what it used to be." Well, you cannot say that to an insurance company that's trying to underwrite you for long-term care. They don't like that type of risk. But it is becoming more and more common. So, as we start to age and we start to look at these things, we really should be looking at other alternatives. Now, some of these articles, this is where they were written, but, Barron said, knowing how long you will live and live healthy could transform retirement planning. This is what we're talking about today. This was an article out of the Journal for Active Aging, Health, Wealth, and Longevity, right? And the doctor that was on here, Dr. J, I'm going to introduce him here in a second, but they've written many articles on this, have done, significant research in this area. So this is a gentleman that I had the pleasure to have on our call on Tuesday. He's got 5 PhDs. He's got 36 MDs on staff, and their team, they're experts in using, we're hearing AI everywhere now, right? But there's good uses of AI. And what they're doing is using this technology, these algorithms, to take some of the static, these sort of generic predictors, and throwing cold water on, right? So if you have a life event prediction, if you have class 1 technology, this is what the Social Security Administration uses. So it just lumps everybody into the same category. And you ask people, they ask that ridiculous question, how long do you think you're going to live? Class 2 technology starts to add other elements, but sometimes what they use is subtraction and addition weighting to what they're doing, and it really turns out to be wrong about 96% of the time. So the technology that's been around for decades, we now have to sort of dismiss and say, hey, what is available? And being able to have some of this AI. And I'll tell you, I did it firsthand, uploaded my picture, put in my metrics, and you're going to see that here shortly in a hypothetical example. But it gave me my specifics, and I mean, I was happy with the results because I'm trying to live a happy lifestyle or a good lifestyle. But some people I could see where fear would come in. But hopefully, what you'll take away from this call today is if you knew, based right now, you're retiring 65, that right now, it's saying from a prediction standpoint, maybe 10, 15 years. Well, maybe we should spend more of that money now while we're healthy and we can, versus turning around and trying to stretch it to age 100 when we're not going to be here anyway, right? So the process of estimating the lifespan, health span, and the care span of individuals is complex. Exploring the influence of families' genetics and medical histories on longevity risk is challenging. So we're going to be introducing something called Wealthspan. I'm not going to take you through every, I could hop on here and give you a tutorial, but basically, if somebody wants this done, reach out to me. I will hop on a Zoom. We can do this together and take you through the exercise. There's no cost to you to get this answer. Right? So are you single? Are you married? Right? All those specifics. What's your birthday? What's your income? Some of these specifics, right? And do you want your partner's data there? Right? So in this example, and this is what I thought was cool, is that you drop your photo. So when I did this the first time, I had a current photo and I'm 58. And when it came back and it said, hey, look, you are about, looks like you're about 53. It's reading your face. Right? It's reading your wrinkles. Do you smoke? Do you have excess weight in your face? It's analyzing all this stuff. I was, like I said, this is technology. And then it turned around and it asked me my height and weight, and then it gave me my BMI. And then it's asked me, you'll see here shortly that and these are hypothetical, right? So male 45, female 45, right? Both of them non-smokers, height, weight. So these are all the types of things. You can see your body BMI. So it's giving you this input. And then your lifespan selection for both you and your spouse. So do you have longevity in your family? Do you have anybody that is 86, 88, over 90? Right? And then what is your current level of daily physical activity? So none versus vigorous, right? So you can see here how this may make a difference as we go forward. So then they got into, I did not have this data. You don't need this data, but it will give you a more accurate reading if you have it. So if you've had a physical recently, if we can get this data prior to filling this out, again, at no cost to you. So then they go through all the questions, which are really, the terminology in the industry is called activities of daily living. So once you, like I said, I was struggling getting out of bed this week. I was struggling getting up and down off the toilet, right? It sort of hit me flat in the face, square in the face of when you become injured, and I'm a heavy guy, my wife wasn't there to help me and I had to move slow. And, this is, and I'm only 58 and I'm going, oh my God, getting old sucks, right? So this is a report that gets created. And from there, this is first on the mail. So it says, Mr. Value Client, his life expectancy is 78 in this example, when the average is 84, right? Now, some people could be alarmed by that, right? And again, it's just a predictor based on his specifics. And he did massage some of the data to make a point. But what I want you to see here is that although living 78, from 72 and a half to 78, that's 5.5 years in the red. That's care span. That's when somebody his wife, loved one, children would have to care for him. And this is where, the takeaway I want everybody to have. If you, can start to take steps to make sure that your loved ones don't have to you don't have to be a burden to them, right? I've heard that said before. And they obviously want to take care of you. Obviously, they're going to do the best they can. But we've seen example after example where they either don't have the skill set, the resources, or if you do go and hire somebody, it's extremely expensive. And if you've done a little bit of planning early, you can help avoid some of these issues later. Now, for her, she was at age 100. Right? We have more centurions living now than we've ever had in this country. And this will continue. But watch what happens now. This is so right now you look, okay, age 100, her last 7 years from 93 to 7. But when you do a side-by-side comparison, even though they were the same age, right? She would probably be the caretaker here for her husband if they have no plan in place. And so those last 5 years, right? So from 77 right out to his age, that's 18 years. So when she passes, who's going to take care of her at 93 and on? So it's just understanding that survival gap from when he could pass or when he was, his health span started to deteriorate to when she would need care herself. And are they burning through resources on him versus when she's more likely the one that's going to be in need of it later? And this has been the common problem in America as we go forward. So I just wanted to, hopefully you guys are starting to see what I see. This is why I'm sharing this with everybody. I brought this slide up before because, it's one of the things that when you think about the cost of care, just in New Jersey, it's $27 an hour. And if it's 24 hours a day, that's $648 a day. In a month, that's 20 grand. 20 grand a month. That's for 24-hour a day care. So in 1 year, it's $250,000 math problem. Now, in the old days, they didn't have, a cost because everybody in the family chipped in to help, grandma and grandpa. But my point is, if, we can go back to that slide where we can ignore it, hope it doesn't happen to me, but we're all getting older. And there's two things in this that are certain in life, death and taxes. We all know that. So as we go forward, having a plan in place, starting to look at options that have been created by the industry, I strongly encourage you, get with me, get with somebody that understands this and have that conversation. So, if you email me, no obligation, and it says Social Security, but this will be the Wealthspan report. It's the same information I said last week. Your name, your spouse's name, date of birth, email addresses, contact phone number. Give me this stuff and I will reach out to you. So my email address, just say, hey, I'm interested. I'd like to set up a time and we'll walk through. I'll need a current photo of you. You can take it with your cell phone, have a good background. And then from there, I'll help you put a plan together, at least look at it and say, hey, what are our options? And we can do so more from a perspective of knowing versus the sort of generic industry. And it's how I was taught. Everybody to age 100, that's the safe mechanism, but it might not be the best mechanism to provide enough money and funds while we're able to enjoy retirement. So hopefully that made sense. I don't know why that did not go. I need to hold on one second. I need to play my disclosure. So bear with me. So I thought that was part of it. Apparently it wasn't. And so let me bring up an old one so I can say that I did that and that everything that I said, this was approved by my RIA, but I have to follow rules. So when I do that, where is that one? All right, one more. Sorry, guys, technology. And let's go to update qualified plans. Let's try this one. Let's hit download here. And this way, when I do it, yeah, this should work now. Sorry about that, but I have rules to follow. Thank you, everybody. Hope all is well and hope to hear from you.